Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. Some big breaking news coming out of Manchester United in relation to this ongoing issue between Erik ten Hag and Jadon Sancho. Manchester United have released a very brief update on this, effectively saying that Manchester United, this is what they say. Jadon Sancho will remain on a personal training programme away from the first team group pending resolution of a squad discipline issue. Now, of course, we know this started after the Arsenal game when Erik ten Hag was asked a question in the post-press conference and basically alluded to the fact that he didn't put him in the squad because he didn't train well and this was an issue. Jadon Sancho, within minutes, put out a statement on Twitter saying that he denied that. It was untrue. He was being scapegoated and he had trained well. A couple of days ago, he deleted that tweet a week and a half after it was put out. And obviously, we have Brighton at the weekend, and we wondered, we've just done the preview, will Sancho make the bench? Over 60% of you said he shouldn't be on the bench. Well, over 60% of you are surely going to agree with this. It's coming down to discipline. It's coming down to the manager, and he's been empowered to do that. Look, we're not really aware of what's going on. Obviously, that Sancho statement stayed out way too long. Should never have gone out in the first place and stayed out way too long. It was there for over a week for the public to look at. So I'm sure Erik ten Hag didn't take kindly to that. And although it has now been removed, we've still heard throughout the week about issues about Jadon Sancho having to have an alarm clock and still not turning up on time. And we heard about United would have sold him to Saudi Arabia, but he didn't want to go. We don't know the truth of those things, but Sancho's in a difficult position now because, putting something out there publicly has landed him in this situation. And I think ultimately it's a shame. Again, I think last season we were in a very different position, I think, where Jadon Sancho missed 3 months and the club and Erik ten Hag were very supportive to him. We don't know the full details of what that was all about, but we were always told he wasn't injured. It was personal issues, and many people suspected that might be to do with mental health issues. Who knows? But the way this has been handled at the start of this season, I think is very disappointing. And I think that the thing that really stands out to me is that it's a very strong statement from Manchester United that he'll have his own personal training programme away from the first team. It sends a ridiculously public, strong message to players as part of the first team, some of which will be friends and colleagues of Jadon, to Jadon Sancho himself, to the media, to fans, to rivals. It sends a really strong message that, look, Anthony is suspended. We don't, Jadon Sancho's on a lot of money and we spent a lot of money on him. But if you cross that line of discipline, then we will potentially weaken ourselves to strengthen ourselves. We will say, look, that's unacceptable. Yes, you're a good player. Yes, it's better to have you involved against Brighton and Bayern Munich, but you overstepped the line and we'd rather not use you based on that. Some people would disagree with it. I mean, it's got nothing to do with the Mason Greenwood situation, but there were fans who were like, we need a goal scorer. I'm not that bothered. Now, I thought it was very immoral. I think some people would agree with me. But there'll probably be people going, I don't care what he's done. We're better with him because he's a good player. I get that in a footballing sense. Of course I get that. But the manager knows the full story, and he's obviously not comfortable having him involved against Brighton, even if he hasn't got many options because of how it's been handled. All I would say is that it's obviously as bad as we feared, because there was a part of me that thought conversation between player and manager, get back to work. You can go in January, but just work hard between now and then. It benefits you, it benefits us. You're on the bench for Brighton. He's not on the bench for Brighton. He's not even training with the first team. There is obviously a way back, but it's hard to see a way back because if Anthony's going to be back soon and if Pellistri does well and Mason Mount's back, you've got two or three options on the right wing. For Sancho now, and I said this over the international break, the stupid thing is if he keeps his mouth shut and works hard, he probably starts against Brighton. The disappointment of that Arsenal game was over. The disappointment was probably real for him, and I get that, but it was over. It was an international break. The opportunity was presenting itself, and this is a lesson in life. Don't fly off making a rash decision when something happens. Sometimes it's worth just taking a breath, sleeping on it. And now Sancho won't be involved against Brighton, and he won't be involved against Bayern Munich. Let's be honest. If he's not training with the team at the moment, he's not going to be training in time to go to Bayern. So the Bayern game. So he misses 2 opportunities. Now there will be other opportunities down the road, of course, but it's just another sad episode in the Jadon Sancho Manchester United career so far. And it feels like Sancho's been here a lot longer than he has, because we had the summer where we didn't get him, and then the following summer we did, and then we bought him, and we bought him for a lot of money, and Solskjaer didn't seem to know how to use him. I mean, he came into the squad, never really got picked at the start, never went on the right wing. Solskjaer got the sack. Rangnick got the best out of him, albeit it wasn't consistent, it was still the best. And then under Ten Hag, it's never, he goes and buys a right winger for 85 million euros, and he likes Rashford. So it's never, and then obviously he missed 3 months last year. So look, I don't think it's out there to say, I think at the moment it looks very obvious that there needs to be a parting of the ways between Jadon Sancho and Erik Ten Hag. You could say Jadon Sancho and Manchester United, but a different coach, maybe it'd be different. I don't know. But there certainly doesn't seem to be a way back that's clear at the moment. What do I think about the action? What do you think about the action? Get in the comments below. Let us know. Do you agree with it? Are you concerned about it? I look at it, if I was the manager, and I look at it at how I've been disrespected publicly after a disappointing loss. And I think if I was Ten Hag in that situation, I'd be fuming about losing, and then within minutes I'm being told about a player, publicly outing me. However severe you think that is. So I would have been very frustrated by that. I'd be doubly frustrated about how long it took for it to come down. I would have been saying to Richard Arnold or John Murtagh, you better tell him to take that down tonight. I want that down tonight, or he will not be playing for me again. And it didn't come down that night. It didn't come down for over a week. So, as bad as it was on the night, and I'm not saying it would have been solved from that, it's been made worse by keeping it up. So I would imagine Ten Hag's had a lot of time to think about this, and I would imagine that he is very, 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 very unhappy about it and feels betrayed, and I would imagine he feels disrespected. I'm not saying that Jadon Sancho doesn't feel the same, but as I've said before, there's a hierarchy here. He is the manager, Erik Ten Hag, and there is a chain of command, and I think Jadon Sancho sort of has trodden on that, and it was ill-advised. And if I was Jadon Sancho's agent or advisor, and he'd said, I'm thinking about putting this out, I'd have said, no, absolutely not. There can be nothing good that comes of this. Even if you're desperate to leave, unless you want to go to Saudi Arabia, what are you going to do for the next 5 months? You're going to devalue yourself. And also, you're going to publicly out yourself as a troublemaker, potentially, to any future employee. So I get that Ten Hag's frustrated. This was always an option. I think it's a severe option, and it's been made public. And I tell you what I would say as well, United aren't pissing about here, and neither's Erik Ten Hag. He publicly said he wasn't happy with him after Arsenal in an indirect way. On Wednesday, we got the stuff about how he's consistently not, on it in training, sometimes turning up a little bit late, and they have to set alarms for him. And then today, they've put a public statement out saying he's training with the kids, or he's training on his own. So United haven't messed about, and I think United have made a lot of mistakes on a lot of things. But on this, I think they've been very, very clear and very, very public that they are disciplining the player. And, we'll have to wait and see what happens in the long run. Predictions are pointless in this situation, because I think it's very easy just to say that Sancho's finished. I suppose Ten Hag's big concern will be if Sancho buckles down and works hard. It's not the first time he's done that and then gone back to old ways, because obviously he had 3 months off last year, got working hard. He's had a lot of absences at Man United as well. I mean, I remember somebody saying, he gets ill a lot. Look, I don't know about that. But I think when the trust is gone, it's very hard to rebuild a relationship in any walk of life. And I think the trust is gone. I think we don't look at it enough from Jadon Sancho's side. Whether he's right or wrong, I don't think he particularly likes or trusts the situation that's going on at United for him either. So, and the fact that the United statement says he's training away from the first team group pending resolution of a squad discipline issue, that really does identify and publicise the fact that it's not been resolved, the squad discipline issue. It's pending pending resolution of a squad discipline issue. So it's not been resolved yet. So who knows what's going on? Maybe there's still a fallout between Ten Hag and Sancho. Could well be. And people will say, well, he deleted it. But maybe that was, we can't talk until you delete it. And now, so who knows? Who knows? I don't think it's the last we've heard of it. I wish it was. Part of me wishes he was in the squad for Saturday and everything had been sorted out. But I respect the fact that it clearly hasn't. It's just another problem for Manchester United. On top of that, you've got Brendan Rodgers blaming Man United fans for Harry Maguire getting abuse. I mean, what world are we living in at the moment? Brendan Rodgers got the sack from Leicester. He's now at Celtic again, a club he left to go and do something better, and now he's gone back to. And now he's being asked questions in a press conference about Harry Maguire and blaming Man United fans. I mean, what world are we living in at the moment? Harry Maguire scored an own goal against Scotland and got jeered by Scottish fans. If Harry Maguire had scored the winner against Scotland, no one would be talking about Harry Maguire. So what's that got to do with Man United fans? Were Man United fans being accused of bullying Harry Maguire on Monday? No. Were they being accused on Tuesday afternoon? No. He plays for England and suddenly Man United fans have caused it all. I mean, I don't know how thick the football world is, but I'm getting a little bit tired of it. And can I just say as well, I've said it so many times, critiquing a footballer and saying they're not good enough to play for your football club is not bullying and it's not abuse. So saying a player should leave your club and he's being greedy by not going when that is the fact is not bullying or abuse. So I just think, I'm getting a little bit tired of it now. And, people need to be a bit careful about this because there's stuff I've got messages about that will blow the doors off on this story. So I just think, and I've had them for a couple of years. So people need to be very careful about who they're accusing of what. Trust me, it's getting a bit silly. And I agree with what Maguire's apparently said, that it's all being blown out of proportion and he's surprised about the reaction. It's being whipped up by the press. And let's not forget, the mainstream media have got a horse in this race. Taking a pop at fans because fans are becoming more vocal on social media feeds into what the mainstream want. They want it to go back to the olden days where they can rule the roost. But look, I personally think the Sancho story is way bigger than Harry Maguire being booed by Scottish fans. And I think Ten Hag's job is very seriously difficult at the moment. Get your comments in below. Smash a like on the video. I'll speak to you all in a bit. Back at 8.